Alright, thanks for tuning in to Chook Woo's channel. I am Woo. Please like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about the rise of the VolIg, right? I'm coming up with new terms. It's my channel. VolIg basically is my new term for voluntarily ignorant. You've heard of incel, which is involuntarily celibate. Coming up with a new term, VolIgs, alright? We'll talk about what ignorance is. We'll talk about why some people are ignorant and what you can do to combat it. I'm assuming if you're watching this channel, you may get some value from some practical tips, as I do in all my videos, to overcome the problem that is discussed. Again, that problem today is ignorance. So let's jump right in. What is ignorance? Ignorance is basically the lack of knowledge or awareness about a topic or a subject. That's it. You don't know. Now, ignorance comes really in two flavors. One, it's unintentional. You just haven't studied a particular topic. You're unaware. And the other is voluntary ignorance. Again, a new term I'm coming up with. That is where you purposefully choose not to research, not to become educated in a particular topic. Okay? So that's what ignorance is. Now, what are some reasons why someone would choose voluntary ignorance? First one is it makes them uncomfortable and there's a fear associated with learning. What do I mean? If you learn more, if you understand more, it forces you to step outside of your comfort zone. It forces you to face some of your beliefs that you've held maybe even since childhood. So there's a fear aspect of it. Ignorance is bliss. That's a term that you've heard throughout your life, and there's some truth to it. If you don't know, you don't deal with some of the pains associated with growing and the acquisition, the gathering of knowledge, okay? Another reason is pure laziness. Sometimes people just don't want to study a thing. They don't want to put in the time, the hours, the mental labor to actually better inform themselves. That's simply the truth. In many cases, people just are lazy. Another reason why people choose ignorance is, quite frankly, they don't want to become separated from the group, whether it's a political group, social group, a family group, a peer group. They want to fit in, and the fact, again, where they could acquire additional knowledge may change their perspective. It may take them out of the group that they're in and put them outside of it, obviously. So there's a group cohesion aspect. I don't want to seek additional knowledge because it will challenge my beliefs and it will jeopardize my belonging to this group that I care about. And then the last piece here, it's more rare nowadays, and I'll get into this. It's the socioeconomic variable of ignorance. Maybe you haven't been taught the value of education. Maybe you simply don't have access to the information. So there is, we have to admit, a socioeconomic factor to ignorance, right? So we talked about what ignorance is. We talked about why some people are particularly voluntarily ignorant. Now we're getting to some solutions, right? So first of all, it's why should you defeat it? Why do you even care to not be ignorant? It's simple. We all know that knowledge is power. The more you know, the more powerful you are, the more you understand, the more you're able to deal with your current circumstances, the more you're able to not only predict, but also adapt to changing circumstances. Now in 2025, change is happening, right? Change has been throughout history, but now, in my opinion, change is accelerating. It means things are changing at a faster pace than they used to change in the past. So it's going to be critically important that you have as much knowledge as possible to adapt to what is currently happening and what's going to happen in the future. So that's the main reason why you want to overcome ignorance. Now, how do you do it? First thing is acknowledge the fact that you don't know certain things, right? The first step in anything, whether you have an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction, the first step is to acknowledge the fact that you actually have a problem. Just that one first step is a huge deal. It's a huge leap forward because you've taken the deliberate step to say, hey, I'm not going to put my head in the sand. I'm not just going to continue to do what I've always done. I want to change, okay? So that's the first thing. Acknowledge that you have a problem. The second thing is overcome your fears by doing what? Facing it head on. I said that one of the reasons why people choose ignorance is fear of growth, fear of leaving the group that they're in. You have to overcome that fear. Now, how do you do this? Some may say, well, okay, yeah, I want to overcome my fear. How do you do it? Step one, literally take out a piece of paper, write down what you're afraid of. Take some time to think about it. If you want to take an hour, a day, a week, a month, write it down. Very short sentences. These are my fears. You'll find that once you put pen to paper and you'll actually have whatever you were scared of written down, it might not seem that large, right? You've written it down, you've taken a look at it, and maybe you're like, okay, these problems, this boogeyman under the bed, these fears aren't as large as I thought. So step one is write it down. That's going to help you confront it. The final thing is you want to always be learning. First, start with topics that interest you. You have access to the information, and that's one of the key things in today's video, why I called it voluntary ignorance. I'm saying voluntary because we're in 2025. Everyone basically has a computer in their pocket in the form of a cell phone. You have access to the internet. You have access to all sorts of AI tools, whether it's ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, etc. There's literally no excuse for an adult to be voluntarily ignorant. In the past, you could have said, I don't have access to a library, right? I don't have access to a good school system, right? Et cetera, et cetera. You can't, those excuses are basically off the table. Any subject that you want to learn more about is at your fingertips. You don't even have to leave your home. You can literally pull out your cell phone, do your own independent research from a number of sources, and get easy to understand access to information. So there's no reason to truly be truly be voluntarily ignorant going forward. So that's my thought. You want to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. We talked about the fact that knowledge is power. Overcome your fears, seek knowledge, grow. You'll find that there's a lot of opportunity on the other side. If you found any value in today's video, like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. Again, it was the rise of the VolIgs, and see you next time. Take care.